So Kev, after digesting last week's results, 7-point game week, I mean, what can you take from the performances first of all?
I think we can take a bit of everything. I think we played well at home without getting a result, without the final touch. But I think we were solid and we were in control of most of that game. We know going away to Bristol Rovers, A, it's a local derby, B, with Matt being there, the expectation, the anticipation, it was going to be a good occasion. And I think we rose to that occasion. I think, again, first half, played some really good stuff in some horrible conditions. Our biggest criticism is we didn't take more chances and make the second half easier for ourselves, but we showed character, spirit, we showed a determination, we showed a lot of stuff that you really want to see in your teams. I think the fan base wants to see in their teams is players that are willing to throw their bodies in the way of things to make sure they get the points, and I thought they were outstanding at that in the second half. Again, horrible conditions, wind in the face, it could easily have gone wrong, and they gave Bristol minimal opportunity. And then away at Barnsley, slightly different game, perfect conditions. In the first half, the manager spoke about it already. I thought we were outstanding. The way we moved the ball, the way they bought into the game plan, which, we give them parameters, but I think they set their own targets within that game. They set their own game plan. They understood what they needed to do to be able to go to Barnsley, a fantastic football club, a team that were in form and get a result. And the lads took to it brilliantly. The decisions they made, the way they chose the right time to tidy the ball and play. And at the same time, if it needed to go in behind, it went in behind, but it went with quality. It went with feel. It gave them something they had to defend, and it gave us something we could get up behind and maybe win the second ball. There were lots of really good individual performances within a very good team performance. Again, biggest criticism would be we need to be a little bit more ruthless. We could have made the second half a lot more comfortable for ourselves, but you're away at Barnsley, you're never going to have a comfortable second half after the reaction from the fan base when they went in at half time. They're always going to come out fighting. So to go out in the second half, to weather that early storm, to get ourselves in it a little bit, and then as it went on, they threw more players on the pitch. They made their changes. They went a bit more direct. Cosgrove is a real handful in the air. They put balls in our box, and we stood up to it really quite well. I think as a group, we probably need to mature to the point where we can continue to make clear and good decisions under that level of physical pressure, because that would have allowed us to, again, minimise their threat. They were always going to come for us, but I think we could have taken a bit more away from them. However, we got the job done. And so a really positive week, lots of stuff that we can reflect on, lots of stuff we have to get better at. On another day, if it wasn't going our way, the Barnsley game, we could have played really well in the first half and still not won it. They put pressure on us, and we probably did need to do more in that second half. So it's certainly, when things weren't going well, we were beating ourselves up to the point of not seeing straight and being clear on what we need to do to get better. At the start of the season, when things were going great, we weren't coming in every day and patting each other on the back and saying we've cracked it. And after one good week in League One, we're certainly not thinking we've got anywhere. We've got Bristol now at home on Saturday. It's going to be another big occasion. It's the return of Matt, all that kind of noise that the players have to ignore. For them, it's about preparation. It's about making sure what they do this week goes towards putting themselves in the best possible position to try and get another win against Bristol this Saturday.
And as coach and staff, just looking back on Saturday as well, I mean, does it give you a lot of excitement that we started off the first half so well and showed two sides to our games, great attacking performance in the first half, but also that resolute defensiveness in the second half when it was really tough?
I think it's fascinating when you're in the world of coaching, because when you win a game, you move on incredibly quick, and you find yourself being more critical than sometimes when you've lost games. It's easy to lose a game. It's easy to play well, have a bad 5 minutes, lose a game. We've done that this season. It's difficult to win games in League One, but when you look at how we went about our job against Barnsley and you look at the first half performance, it would be easy to just think, yeah, well done, brilliant, we've cracked it. But there's so much more we could do better. you sit in front of the camera, you're kind of giving a review of the week. You want it to be positive, and it should be. We had a very good week last week, but there's so much more we could be better at. There's so much more in the first half. The decisions were good, but probably could have played a little bit more. The second half performance, like you say, resolute, hard-working, desperate to hold on. I think Sweens in the pre-game meeting used the phrase a clean sheet mentality. You saw that everybody was trying to stop the ball from going in the net, but it could have been better. There could have been more. We could have had more control, and that's what you're striving for every day. So although that sounds probably a little bit contradictory of what I said in the first part of this conversation, the fact is 34, 33 points gets us nowhere. And it's an ongoing thing to aim to get better. We need to build something here, and we can't build it off one good week. We need to build it over time, and you break that down, it comes down to the next game. So I know it's one of those things fans want you to be all excited. We're happy that we've done well. We're happier for the fan base that have seen a few wins now and that have seen us come out of this tough spot. But you almost end up doubling down on how much harder we have to work, how much better we have to get, how much more there is to do with this group, and how much more there is in this group to come out. If we can get that right, if we can build that, then we're doing all right.
And how do you prepare for the challenge of going to a team that's sitting in the playoffs, is unbeaten, on a long unbeaten run, and very strong at home? How do you prepare for that kind of challenge?
And the same as you prepare for every game. It's our job as coaches to highlight the things that we think they're particularly strong at and the areas that we might be able to have a go at. It's then about trying to set the team up in a way that maximises our strengths and minimises our areas of development. It's then bringing the team in on that, because they're the guys that have to go out and execute. So we need to hear their thoughts. It needs to be a process that they're a part of. I think that's a big thing in football nowadays. If you go back to when I started, it was very much a dictator style of manager who told you exactly what you had to do. He told you what he wanted you to do. If he was a good manager, he might show you how to do it. You'd never in a million years ask him why. Whereas nowadays, the way players are brought up, the education that they get, the tactical understanding they get coming through academies now, I think it's a powerful thing for them to know why, and it's a powerful thing for them to have a say in how we might do it. I think it builds relationships, it builds understanding, and it builds a stronger belief that when you go out there and the going gets tough like it did in the second half, we all did this together. This wasn't just one guy stood at the front saying we have to do this. This was a team effort. We put the plan together, we worked on it together, and now you guys are out there and you've got to go and execute it. And I think that gives more to it, more substance. And I enjoy that side of it. I think we all enjoy that side of it.
And since Boxing Day, it really feels like the team's built quite a platform to build on going forwards as well.
Again, I'm going to bore you. Next game, I make no real apologies for that. What we've done over the last month is neither here nor there. But what we do on Saturday is really the only thing that's important at this stage. We'll add all that up at the end of the season and we'll see where we come out. But the lads have had a couple of days off, well earned. They needed that, especially after a 3-game week and all the travel that we've gone through. But they've not been sat around doing nothing. They've had a clear plan on how they're going to recover and what they need to do, how they need to fuel themselves, how they need to hydrate, and they need to come back into training ready to go, because Bristol will be hurt. We beat them at their place. The manager will want to show what he's about. The manager and the fan base, everybody will want to come here and put what they think went wrong at their place. They want to put it right, and it's up to us to stand up to that challenge and put our style on them, put how we play on them, and have the challenge now of lifting our own crowd. The last 2 games we've been able to go out and try and quieten the home crowd. Now it's about exciting our crowd. It's about getting them on the edge of the seat. It's about getting the place rocking, and that can only happen with a good performance.
You mentioned earlier about us needing to maybe take our chances in the last couple of games, but after that sort of difficult spell we had where we found it hard to find back of the net, as the kind of goals we've scored recently been pleasing to see, the kind of goals we've scored?
I think so. I mean, we know we've got goals in the team. We know we create chances. And it's amazing what a little bit of confidence does. I was delighted for Jack. Jack's performance levels all season have been sky high. He's continued to grind when things have gone tough. He's continued to do things well when it's not been going well for us in terms of results. The one thing that hasn't really fallen for him, other than after the first 20 seconds of the season, is the goals that he's probably deserved. We need to work with him to give him the best opportunity to get more. But he's a student of the game. He wants to learn. He's a coachable player. He gives an incredible amount for the team. And if anything, he needs to be a little bit more selfish at times to get what he deserves. But delighted that he got his goal. Reece Cole needs to add goals to his game, and he's starting to do that. You know, from where he's come from to where he is now, it's great credit to him. But we were never in doubt that we were going to create chances. We just need to keep working and chipping away with the boys that, you know, the type of goals they're going to score, the type of chances they're going to get, and then work on those type of finishes. And sometimes it works out, like it has done over the last week. Sometimes not so much, but it's a process like everything in football, and it's something that, you know, you want to get into and enjoy.
Just touching on the transfer window as well, which shuts on Thursday evening. It's been a very quiet window in football as a whole, and I guess it shows how difficult a window it is to operate in.
I think, you know, I've said this several times, we can at some point in the next few weeks, I'm sure, sit down in an open forum, face-to-face, and have more of an open discussion on what it is actually like to try and recruit players, particularly for a League One club who we're not the first dog at the bowl, you know, financially, geographically, in terms of where the season's at, where teams are in the league. You know, there's a lot that goes into that. We have to be patient. We have to have targets. We have to have lists of players that we know will be of a good fit here. And then we need to diligently work away at trying to get those guys in. And that's not the manager. It's not me. It's not Perks. It's not Marcus. It's a group effort to try and get the right players into the club who are going to add value immediately and longer term, and are going to allow us to achieve our goals this season. And it's an incredibly difficult process. And I think, you know, now's not the time on camera, but I do think that there'll come a good opportunity to really chat and let people know what that looks like, because there'll be a bit more understanding there, despite the frustrations when players aren't, you know, flowing through the door as we'd all like.
I'm looking forward to Saturday as well. Second time meeting Bristol Rovers in 10 days. This time at home, looking likely to be a sellout as well, which is, again, great to see, isn't it? The fans showing their support.
Yeah, and it's up to us to make sure that as of today, we're out there and we're getting ready for it. Move on from last week. It's gone. Make sure that they're ready for what's coming. I'm sure the atmosphere will be great. Again, local derby, all the bits that are going on, but we need to ignore that noise. We need to make sure we're focused on us, on our process, on how we're going to try and win that game against a very, very good Bristol team with some very, very good players in it. So enjoy the challenge. We'll try and rise to it, and it'll start today.
I don't know how you feel about this, but it's been said a lot by players, and I think Gary, about making St James Park a fortress. I know you like to look at the next game, but, you know, we are 4 unbeaten at home. So again, I'm going to say it's something to build on. You might disagree, but you know, that's good, isn't it?
It is good. It is, and you know, from my point of view, from the coaching point of view, it is the next game. From the fans' point of view, they want to turn up every week and know that they're going to a place where there's a chance of a result. They want to turn up every week and see passion and fire and players running about, giving it everything. And they want to turn up knowing that it's a difficult place for the opposition teams to come to. That doesn't just come down to the team. They're a part of that. We're all a part of that. And that's what we'll strive for. But token answer that you'll always get from me is, you know, you build a fortress over time, but what we can do is be ready for this weekend.
I guess just to finish as well, on Saturday, at the end of the game, you had that picture taken in front of the fans. Gary mentioned in the week that you know, that's something you like to do after a win, because a win in this league is difficult. So I guess it's just a nice thing for the players to have as a memory and to really push them on to the next game.
Well, you're in a sport where you never know when your last game's going to come. And so you need to enjoy those things. You work hard for the wins. We've been through some tough times together. We stayed together as a group. I think it's great credit to the staff, the players, everybody involved, how close we stayed during a really tough time. And so when you do come out a little bit the other side and you get some positive results, I think it's important that you enjoy them and then move on quickly to the next game.
Perfect way to end, right?
Yeah, thank you.